Hi guys, my name is Kirsty and welcome to Upside Down Books. Today I am in a different setting and that's because it's a different room, so surprise, here we are differently. But that means you guys get a nice little look at my other bookshelf. I am currently in the spare bedroom and I'm standing up. And everything is very exciting. Now there are several reasons for that, and that is mainly because it is Christmas time, or just gone. It's actually the 27th of December when I'm filming this, so hopefully this goes up for the new year, but I have not been very good with being punctual this month. What happened is that my sister and her partner came over to visit us for Christmas as they live interstate, and basically we do a bit of musical bedrooms around this time of year, and they were in my room, so I was in the spare room and spending some quality time with my second bookshelf. That means that I don't have my usual backdrop right now, and as I got a tripod for Christmas, I'm doing the extraordinarily exciting thing of filming standing up with my camera on eye height, and this is very exciting. So maybe I'll stick with this, I don't know how the sound works. There's wooden floors in here and it's a smaller room and I don't have a microphone, I just use what's built in my camera, so I apologise if it's really echoey or a bit weird, but we're just gonna roll with it. Today what I thought I would do is kind of go over some of my goals for 2018 as the new year is creeping up on us, and kind of brainstorm things that I want to get around to whilst having a quick look at the kind of things that I got around to this year. Before I get any further, I do want to say I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas, and I hope that you have some exciting plans for the new year as well. I had a wonderful Christmas myself and it was so nice to spend time with everyone, and I got some really good presents this year, and one of those was a 2018 diary. Which is really pretty, isn't it? This is actually a gift from my sister. Now this diary is going to be the answer to all of my 2018 reading goals, and as you can see I have made 2 pages of notes of things to try and achieve in my reading life in the new year. I have no idea what 2018 is going to hold for me. Job-wise, life-wise, holiday-wise, all of those things, I've actually got no idea. So my goal, we'll start with saying, on Goodreads is going to be to try and read 100 books. The most I have ever read in 1 year is 86. That's where I'm kind of pegging it at the moment, but we're probably going to be a little bit of adapting and changing as the year goes on once I figure out what my weekly and monthly schedules are actually going to look like. So let's sort of break this up. I'm going to start by having a quick look at what I got to this year, what I did this year and what that meant for my reading, and then using that as a springboard to kind of compare and plan for 2018. So 2017 was a pretty busy year for me. In 2017 I moved to Florida for 6 months and I worked for Disney World. That was very far away from home and a really cool experience, and I'm so glad that I did it. But it meant that I was working really long hours and way too distracted with all the shinies that America and Disney had on offer, and I had only read 7 books by the time I got to July. That means that in 2017 I've spent basically 6 months of the year doing my actual normal reading, and I've been slumping for like the last 2 months, so it's honestly not been the best reading year. But all up, I ended up reading 43 books as of today. I'm hoping to finish 1 more book. I want to say 2 more books, but probably just 1 more at this point. So maybe 44, maybe 45, which is about half the amount that I would have expected to have read. This has made it a little hard to kind of compare and think about what I might be able to read for next year, because in 2016 I read 86 and in 2015 I read about 72, and before that it was like 62 and then 55, so I've been going up and up each year, which means I am anticipating that I probably could have read somewhere in the 90s, which makes me think that, yeah, you know what, in 2018 we're gonna shoot for the stars and we're gonna try and read 100 books. That would be so exciting. Now the books that I read in 2017 were absolutely awesome. Several things changed and happened with my reading this year, and there are 2 very notable things that I want to talk about that happened in 2017 that I am really pleased did happen. Firstly, I have started to really listen to some audiobooks. What I usually do when I'm traveling is listen to audiobooks because I find they are easier to fit in with your traveling schedule when you're moving from place to place, and just sort of an easier way to get through some reading material. So I was rereading the Harry Potter series, and that has led on to the rest of the year that I've been reading more audiobooks. I restarted my Audible subscription, so I have been really getting into reading a few extra books whilst I'm at the gym, whilst I'm driving and doing cleaning, all sorts of things like that. The second thing that happened with my reading in 2017 was that I started receiving ARCs. Now I've received a lot of ARCs from quite a few of the different publishers in the last couple of months, and currently I have 14 arcs to read, and it's stressing me a little bit. But that means I'm kind of playing with how I'm going to be buying books in the future from now on, because if I'm receiving that many books that are really quite good quality, then I'm probably going to not need to buy so many books in the new year, which is good. Following on from that, I've also not bought as many books in 2017. There have been a few sales that have gone on and things like that, but for the most part I'm really pleased with how my buying went this year. I've read some amazing books, and whilst I've really been slumping and struggling with my reading the last couple of months due to work commitments, Christmas commitments, and a couple of really bad books, I feel like I am in a good place with my reading, so that's good. But moving forward to my goals for 2018. So yes, we've discussed that I'm going to be trying to read 100 books in the new year. I don't know how that's going to go. It's roughly going to work out reading about 8 books per month. Now I'm going to be separating it down month by month. I'm going to be keeping with my monthly TBRs and goals and things like that to help me break the year down to getting through things. Obviously one big emphasis will be trying to get on top of the arcs. So now that I've kind of coming out of my reading slump and I've got a little bit more time now that Christmas is over, I'm hoping that I can really get on top of that and get onto some of those arcs that really need reading. And there are so many good ones to get around to. But let's consult my diary of the few things that I have specifically decided to focus on. So as of the current moment, I have been revising my TBR, which is on Goodreads. It's my want to read shelf, and those are all the books that I own that are sitting on my bookshelves, like this one and my big one that is over in my room. And if you're not familiar with either of these bookshelves or what they look like, or if you're new here, I did do a bookshelf tour earlier on this year, a few months ago, so feel free to go and check those out if you want to be more familiar with the books that are on my shelf. So when I consulted my Goodreads, I currently have 244 books to get through, which sounds like a huge number, but I'm actually pleased with that. Why am I pleased with that? Because I had a goal from a few months back that I would not let that go over 250. For the last maybe 4 years, I have just been exponentially increasing in my number of books on my TBR because I buy so many books at book sales and I don't read particularly fast, so it just keeps growing. So by the time I hit around 230, 240, I went, okay, this has to stop. So I have a set in stone rule that I am not allowed to go over 250 books, which means I have a 6-book leeway at the moment. Now, the reason that this is higher than I would like it to be is of course because of the 14 arcs that are currently staring at me with evil eyes, but there's not much I can do about those. Those will just come to me and I will choose which ones to read and which ones to not read. But I have set myself specific monthly goals, so let's consult those. So each month I'll be aiming to read 1 book for my book club. If you haven't heard this book club, it is the Squabbling Dragons book club, and we are a Goodreads book club. I've said that word way too many times, but you can follow the links down below in the doobly-doo thing and go check us out. We read underrated sci-fi and fantasy. In January we'll be starting the new year off on the 17th of January with a book called Karen Memory, so come and join us for that one. It's going to be awesome fun. I am then aiming to do 1 readathon per month. Now I was sort of following on with this sort of idea earlier on in this year. I am a co-host on the Alphathon Readathon, which is an alphabetical little themed readathon where we're up to letter E next, basically. I'll leave links for that down below as well if you want to check it out. I don't know when the next round of that one is happening, however, but I will obviously be joining in with them. But I get quite a lot of reading done for readathons I enjoy. Now, my problem with readathons is I tend to slump after them, but we're going to just try to push through that. So I'm going to say that each month I look for 1 readathon I want to participate in, and I set aside like that week or however many days the readathon goes for to really boost my reading for the month, and maybe try and catch up to the quota of 8-ish books per month to try and get there to make sure I reach 100 at the end of the year. The next goal I have is actually a quarterly goal, and that is to read 1 classic every quarter. I find that I tend to get this backlog of classics on my shelf because whilst I enjoy reading them, I find them really intimidating to get around. You can see here I have my leather-bound editions of some of my favourite classics, although I have not read Great Expectations. But I would really like every quarter to just say, okay, you know what, this month we're reading Vanity Fair. This month, David Copperfield. This month, Anna Karenina. And just start ticking them off the list, because they're big books, they're slow to read, but if I can just try and do that, then I'll slowly start to chip away at it and I will be able to sleep again at night once more. The next goal I have for myself is sort of an overarching goal for the year, and that is to finish off series. One of my next things I'm going to talk about is all the series that I currently have unfinished on my shelf, and I have a lot. So in September of this year I did Series September, and I'm going to do that again in September 2018, and that's where I just read books that help me progress towards finishing series. I have so many left unread, and I think that's fairly common because series come out periodically and you can't just only read those until the next one comes out. But I have too many. I have too many and I have a lot that I could finish off, so I'm going to try and focus on that. Specifically following on from that one, my big shining star goal for 2018 is to finish the Ranger's Apprentice series. In 2017 I tried to finish the Inkwell series by Cornelia Funk. Unfortunately I failed, but I did get through Inkspell, and if you've been following along, that's a huge achievement and I'm really pleased with that. But for 2018 we're going to be finishing off the last 4 books in the Ranger's Apprentice series and I'm so excited. I then have quite a few books that have been on my TBR for a long time. Like 10 years long. Maybe 5 for some of them. The point is they've been on there for too long, and that was sort of where the Inkwell challenge came in this year, because I have too many books that I put down as a child or didn't get to as a child, and they're just sitting stale on my bookshelf. So I have a list of 9 books or so here that I want to get to, so I'll quickly whiz those off the tip of my tongue for you so you know, roughly speaking, what sort of books I would love to aim to get to in 2018, because then I could at least have a fresh pile of books and not just be reading the most recent purchases and not getting to any of the old ones. So those books include Terrier by Tamora Pierce, Ink Death by Cornelia Funk, Fairy Tales and Nightmares by Melissa Marr, Lamplighter by D.M. Cornish, the Septimus Heap series by Angie Sage, The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy, Tigana by Guy Gavriel Kay, The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, and Beautiful Chaos by Gary Russell. So hopefully I can get to maybe 1 or 2 of those books. I'm not going to expect myself to do the whole thing because I never do, but just to start having a go at some of those would be great. Now, as you can see on here, this whole page is actually, and a little bit down here, are all the series that I haven't got to yet this year. So I'm not going to read those off for you, but doing a quick count over, I can tell you there are about 30 series that are unfinished on my shelf right now. So that's going to be the biggest push for 2018, is trying to get on top of those so that I don't have so many series I've got halfway through and sort of forgotten what's happening. So that's sort of in a nutshell my big goals for 2018. I'm hoping to just really enjoy my reading and get on with my reading, and I'm sure I'll check in with you again as the new year actually rolls over, depending on what I end up doing with my year. I have no major travelling plans, so that means at present I have a full 12 months of reading, because I never read when I'm travelling very much. I don't know what I'm going to be doing work-wise, but I'm not going to be studying, so I'm hoping that 2018 is actually going to be a fantastic reading year. I have so many amazing books to get around to and I cannot wait to read them. And I'm hoping that I can fulfill that quota of getting to 8 books per month. I know I can read that many, it's just whether I pick up books that I enjoy. So I guess one more goal that I would like to add on to the end of this video here is that I want to make sure I'm reading books I enjoy. I am far too much of a stickler for getting to the end of a book. I've really got tripped up at the end of this year by trying to push through these bad books. So I want to make sure I'm reading books I'm enjoying so that I get through this TBR, because when I have a good run of books, I'll read 4 books in like 3 days. No, I'm kidding, I've never done that, but you get the point. So hopefully 2018 will be as good as I'm hoping it to be. I can't wait to get around to all the books that I have to read. For my next video I should be back in my room again, unless I edit this and absolutely love this setting, so we will see what happens there. But other than that, that is all I have for you today, so I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!